Yo, what's cranking? Welcome back to the channel. Today it's January 30th and Sunday. I'm heading out to pull some cameras down, and I got to get these cameras down. I think 4 or 5 left I got to get, but at the same time I'm going to do some snooping around. They're in good spots. A couple of them are in really good rut spots, so I'll be able to kind of look through there and see what was happening, and what I missed. So this is going to be a continuation of the scouting vlog series that I'm going to do all year. I have some really big goals this year for myself personally for whitetail, and I don't typically talk about my goals, but one of my goals this year is to try to do something related to whitetails every week. And I'm just going to film it all. I'm going to film it all and share it. I know it's going to be tough. I have a family, life's busy sometimes, but I'm going to try to get out there and do something every week for whitetails. So stick with us, stay tuned, and we'll see you guys out in the woods. It's kind of hard to see on the screen, but I had this camera on a scrape. The scrape doesn't look like it's been worked in forever, but I think I heard the camera click, so that's good. Yeah, so first camera still there. I'll pull it down, take it with us, and then I'm gonna go to the other one, but I'm gonna slip through this bedding area over here and just kind of poke around a little bit, see what was going on. I'm just always trying to learn something every time I come out here, no matter if I'm coming out to get cameras or I'm scouting or anything. I'm always trying to learn something, whether it be the lay of the land, how, especially in the wintertime, it's kind of hard to see with the snow some things, like sign wise, but the nice thing with the snow is you can see like the lay of the land. And you can, even when I was driving in today, I noticed like this little hump, this little ridge system that I hadn't saw before, and I was like, oh, I should go check that out. So it's not ideal scouting with a bunch of snow on the ground because you don't see the scrapes, the real runs and stuff like that, but you can still get good intel, but I mean, it is what it is. You get what you get. You can't pick the weather. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this camera down, and then we're gonna go fetch a cell cam. Pretty good run right here. Middle of the thicket. Should probably mark this. As I walk it, I'll use the tracking feature on Onyx, so I just see how the deer walk can be helpful when you're doing your setups. You'll know the main trails. Just walking down this transition. They're tearing this stuff up. Trails just beat down. It's good intel for next year, maybe in late season. Come back over here. There's obviously deer over here. Hunting season's been closed for like a month, so I mean, maybe they've moved back in because there's no human activity, but I mean, it's a cool little spot. I mean, the trails are just beat up with activity. There's a lot of deer over here. A lot of fresh tracks. Let's keep going. Get to this other camera. Yeah, look at all this. There's tracks everywhere. Somewhere up there is another cell cam. I can see the deer must have figured it out because all the trails are behind it. So they're skirting the camera. That was a pretty good one this year. Got some good deer on camera for sure. But we're 2 for 2. Get this one down, and then I got a little bit of a hike. But you can see all the trails going this way. So a freaking figured it out and skirted it. Smart animals. Whew. It's getting hot already, man. It's like 18 degrees and I'm sweating. Typically there's beds under this tree. All these little trees in here, there's beds. Now it looks wide open, but in season, everything's up higher. This tree right here always has a bed under it. And bucks and does bed here. The does primarily bed more that way, and the bucks will bed more this way. And there's all kinds of rubs. I don't know if you'll be able to see them, and that's typical. Like what I think is they get up, you know, from their nap, come over here, rub. That's all tore up. That's tore up. There's some more over here tore up. So I don't think a giant was living in here this year, but there has been a giant living in here before, so it's just good intel. You know, this is a spot that I just keep tabs on. I check it every year. I had to walk to get here anyway to find get my camera. Yeah, here's another. That's that typical, like I just woke up. Let me go rub my horns for a little bit. Kind of smells like deer over here right now. But, I mean, this is what we do. Just walk around, scout. Every time I go get a camera, I always try to take a different route. Try to learn something, find something new. Yeah. Rubs all on this. You know, it's not giant sign, but it's sign. Like I said, sometimes real big ones will show up in here. There's a little better rubbing over here. Yeah, this is better sign. Looks quite old. That looks like early season. That one looks a little fresher, but that looks super old. But, I mean, it's a better sign. It's good to know. Good to know. So we got a pretty nice big bed. There's another big bed right there. And there's some old rubs here. And this place has just been littered with rubs and tons of sign. New sign. So you can see how thick it is back in here. They're wintering right here. So I've been kind of trying to keep my eye out for sheds. Might be a little early, but I mean, those tracks coming out of that bed are big. Those are really big tracks. That's probably a buck. I mean, you're not getting close to this deer. No way are you gonna get close to this deer. Just gotta get lucky, figure out where he's gonna come out. But this is a really nice spot. I definitely think I'm gonna hunt here next year for sure. So I'm just gonna mark this and save it in Onyx. Some big tracks in here. It'd be awesome if I found a shed. We shall see. I'm about to break this whole little area down. I'm about to just spin around a couple times and see what we can see. See if I can figure out where he's going. Big bed. Another big bed. Alright, so I was working that other spot where I found those beds, and I just kept working the trails. I mean, that's a freshie. There's pretty big tracks in there too. There's old historical rubs all around here. It's really thick, and they have a sight advantage so they can see into the woods, and then if something comes through they can dump off into the thickets. Another bed over there. I mean, that's pretty big. Definitely gonna mark this. I mean, it's a good spot, good visibility. Nothing's gonna sneak up on these deer. Pretty big tracks. I'm just gonna keep following this trail and just see what happens. See what we come across. Can see another rub in the distance. I mean, this is good stuff over here. It's a good area. Definitely gonna put some hunts over here next year. Old historical rub. But look at the trail going through here. Little pea spot. Pretty good. You know, it's not giant sign. Not like mind-boggling sized rub. But if he lived, and judging from all the tracks in here, I'm thinking that he may have lived. There's some really big tracks in here. I suppose they could be doe tracks, but my guess is it's not. I mean, if he lived, he should be probably a 3 or 4 year old next year. I'm gonna get a camera over here. There's a rub, pretty nice one. This is good stuff, man. Good stuff. Love this. Well, I got some really good intel from that spot, and I ended up seeing some deer. I kicked some deer up even, so I'm pretty happy with that. Came to a different spot just to check it out. I actually have a cell cam here that died when I was in the hospital, so hopefully it's still there. There's a bed, pretty decent size. But I came over to this other spot a couple miles away from where I was, and you know, I could have went the easy way to check that camera, but not what I like to do. I like to, you know, take a little adventure and walk something new. There's a lot of deer coming through here. Some heavily beat up trails, but anywho, I like to, you know, take a path I haven't taken before, and you know, try to learn something. I didn't get to hunt over here last year. I hunted over here a couple years ago, and I had a pretty nice encounter with a nice buck. I think it was a 4-year-old, but I have not been back. So I had a lot of nice bucks on camera. I think maybe one shooter, but it died like, I think right before rut. A little rub. The camera, like I said, the camera died when I was in the hospital, so there was nothing really I could do. Kind of sucked. It's hard to tell, but I'm standing in a scrape. There's kind of some scraping on that tree. This is where I had my cell cam that died on me. I don't know if you guys can see it up there somewhere, but my plan was if I could get something patterned, which there was several, you know, probably 2.5-year-old, maybe a 3.5-year-old. They were hitting this scrape, and then there's a tree over there. There's like three pieces, and that's where I was gonna set up. So if I could get the wind right, probably a wind, you know, blowing this way, not into, because there's a big thicket over here. I think they're bedding in there. I was gonna set up there, maybe about a 20-yard shot. So just didn't work out. But that scrape was here 2 years in a row now. So that's gonna be, I'll probably put this camera back, to be honest. I don't know, I mean, we'll see. I'd like to, you know, run those synthetics again and see how it works. I really wanted to come in here and set up and hunt, and it looks really open right now just because of the, you know, being at winter, but like early season, it was thicker than snot shit in here. You could not see out. You couldn't, like all that woods over there, you couldn't see through any of that. So it's kind of hard to envision now, but it's a cool little spot. So as I was pulling the camera down, notice a little rub right there. Just a little one, but it's a cool spot, man. I'm definitely gonna put a mock scrape in here again next year. It's just, it doesn't look like much, but it's, Jesus, Pete, it's between two really thick thickets, And I mean, there's not that much gap in between. And then when you get inside, I mean, it's hard to see in, you know, it's easy to see in there now, but during the season, you can't really see in there. So it's a cool little spot. But I think what I'm gonna do is just hook around and take a little walk before I go back to the truck. See what else we can find. There's a ladder stand. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep walking, and if we see something cool, we'll show you guys. There's that big rub over there, and there's standing corn across the street. Here's a bed right here, and the parking lot's like 50 yards that way. It's incredible late season what these deer will do, how they adjust, how they'll just sit right next to the parking lot, right by food, without a care in the world. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this week's scouting vlog 2. Hopefully this is helpful for you. If not, you know, you don't have to watch them, but I'm just gonna, you know, try to do something every week so I can try to, you know, learn some more about the areas I hunt. I have a lot of stuff to scout, and maybe I'll do an episode in a couple weeks about what I do with all this inventory of, you know, knowledge. You know, how do I store it all, and, you know, how I think I can exploit it come deer season. So I'm out of breath. It's good exercise too. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace.